here at the Court of Appeals for the 4th Appellate District, Division 1, with Chief Counsel of Americans for Safe Access, Joe Elford. Joe, how did the appeal go today?
I'm very pleased with the way the appeal went. The judges asked very thoughtful, very direct, pointed questions, and that's always a sign of a good oral argument. It was what we call a hot bench, meaning the judges were just firing out questions at me, and I'm firing back responses, and that's how it went. And it's always a sign of at least a very good oral argument.
Today in court, we also saw the district attorney actually step up and argue the same one that argued in the original case. Is that something common in appellate court? It seemed a little unprecedented.
Well, in a criminal case, that's highly unusual. Typically, the way it works is you have the various local district attorney's offices throughout the state that handle the case at the trial court level. But then once the case goes up on appeal, the people are represented by the attorney general's office, and the DA no longer handles the case at the appellate level. Here, you had the very unique step taken by the DA to file an amicus brief that actually disagreed with the position taken by the Attorney General, and then the Attorney General allowed the DA to take 5 minutes of his time to argue the oral argument. So you end up with, instead of 1 against 1, 1 against 2, but ultimately I think that works in our favor.
What can come out of this case in general affecting the state of California's medical marijuana laws?
Well, I'm hopeful for a decision in our favor, and a decision that also goes to great lengths to clarify what is a legal collective under California law. And I think this court seems interested in doing that, so at least everyone will know, both law enforcement, trial courts, and medical marijuana patients will know going forward what is a legal medical marijuana collective under California law, and that will go to great lengths to help ensure that medical marijuana patients throughout the state are able to get access to the medicine that they need through dispensaries.
Now, Kamala Harris's Attorney General's office was arguing the case in opposition here. What, if any, inconsistencies did you find with what the Attorney General's guidelines versus what was argued in court today by the Attorney General's office?
Well, the very beginning of the AG's argument today seems to conflict directly with the Attorney General guidelines, which recognize collectives and cooperatives, whereas the Attorney General at least began his argument today talking about, well, it doesn't speak in terms of collectives and cooperatives, it speaks in terms of collectively or cooperatively cultivating marijuana. And one of the justices was able to point out, well, if that were the case, there would be no need for the defense if everyone was actually cultivating. So, I mean, I think the Attorney General today was arguably internally inconsistent today alone, but inconsistent in at least that respect from the Attorney General guidelines.
Do you think that's the position of Kamala Harris, or is that something on a local level? Or
I don't know what the position of Kamala Harris is, and I think maybe I may be misinterpreting what the Attorney General had to say today, or I think he may have misspoke. I don't think that the Attorney General who argued today disagrees with the Attorney General guidelines, and so I think the Attorney General who argued today, as well as Kamala Harris, agree with the Attorney General guidelines as they currently stand, and agrees that the legislature should clarify, or if not the legislature, the judiciary should help clarify this law.
Is that why their arguments against it seemed a little silly today in court?
I wouldn't characterize it that way, but I would say that there definitely were multiple different arguments being presented on the other side compared to our side. I think that have one unifying common theme about how we interpret the law.
At the end of the day, once the court decides, could a decision come out affirming that storefront dispensaries, in the way that they have been operating over the last few years throughout the state, are in fact legal?
That's our hope.
Thank you for your work, Joe.
Okay, thanks, Eugene.